A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is an action survival horror game released in 2024 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It takes place in the same universe as the Quiet Place movies, where Earth has been overrun by aggressive alien creatures that hunt entirely by sound. These creatures are blind but extremely sensitive to noise, forcing survivors to move carefully and avoid making even the smallest sound. The Road Ahead tells an original story centered on a college student named Alex. Early in the game, she discovers she's pregnant and her boyfriend is killed by a creature. While hiding out with other survivors and her father, their sanctuary is overrun by the creatures and she has to fend for herself while trying to find a truly safe haven. In addition to that, Alex has asthma, which adds another layer of risk in a world where making noise can be fatal. Instead of following a family unit like in the films, the game focuses on Alex's individual experience, combining survival with personal loss and long-term responsibility as she tries to stay alive while carrying a child in an environment where even breathing can get her killed. I would compare the gameplay more to a walking simulator than a survival horror or adventure game. You're constantly moving forward while trying to stay quiet and avoid alerting the creatures. Almost everything Alex does creates noise. She can walk slowly, normally, or run, but different surfaces affect how loud those movements are. You can try to manage this by throwing objects as distractions, pouring sand to soften footsteps, or waiting for other loud sounds to cover you. Alex's asthma also plays into this. If she exerts herself too much or moves through dust or smoke, she'll struggle to breathe. You can use inhalers to recover, but they're limited. There's also an optional feature where the game uses your microphone, meaning the creatures can react to real-life noise you make. Most of the game is spent either quietly sneaking through areas or solving simple puzzles to progress. Because Alex has to stay quiet, even basic actions like climbing over obstacles aren't always possible, forcing you to take longer, slower routes. It makes sense within the world, but it also becomes tedious over time. The game is very linear with a clearly defined path forward. It leans much more on its story than its gameplay systems. Despite being a survival-focused setting, there aren't many mechanics tied to that. The only resources you really manage are inhalers and flashlight batteries. There are collectibles, mostly notes, which provide context about the areas and the people who live there. Alex as a protagonist will probably frustrate a lot of players. She makes a number of questionable decisions and ends up causing most of the situations she finds herself in. Most of her survival comes down to dumb luck rather than growth, and she doesn't go through much noticeable character development over the course of the game. The environments are very well done. Each area is detailed and feels lived in, even though everything is abandoned. It feels like people actually lived there before the world ended. It's a bit disappointing that there aren't more survival mechanics tied to this because the environments feel like they were designed for that type of gameplay. The creatures themselves stand out in these spaces, which adds to the tension. They don't belong there, but they don't care. The voice acting and music were good, and everything had the right tone for whatever it was used for. I did like this game, but had a few problems with it. Like I said earlier, it would have been fun to have survival mechanics where you had to actually scavenge for food and supplies rather than that be cutscene only. The being quiet aspect also got old quickly. It feels like this pads out the gameplay time due to the game not being very long. It's also frustrating when you accidentally make a loud sound and get killed and have to restart from a checkpoint. Luckily, there's a feature to show you where to go next, so you'll know where to go if you have to restart somewhere. The story interested me, and I liked how some sections were shown through flashbacks to the early days of the invasion. It kept me curious about what was going to happen next, but the plot started to lose momentum the closer I got to the end. The ending itself felt weak and didn't feel like a satisfying conclusion. This is a good game if you're not expecting much from it. The store page doesn't give much information, which makes it seem like a game where you just run around trying to survive while the creatures search for you. In reality, the game is linear, fairly short, and more of a walking simulator than anything else, with a heavier focus on its story. It's priced at around $30, which feels a bit high for what you get. If you go in knowing what to expect or you already enjoy the Quiet Place series, it can be worth picking up on sale. The takeaway is just wait for it to go on sale. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content. Leave a comment if you like the Quiet Place series. I like them. They're pretty cool. I still need to watch Day One, which looks like really, really interesting. Thank you to everyone who supports me. I have a Twitch that I stream on. I streamed some of this game on Twitch a few weeks ago. Or months ago? No, weeks, I think. I have a Redbubble stuff for sale. I have a demo for my game Shards of the Heart in the description below, and I think that's about it. Thank you for watching.